How are y'all doing, my folks? I am what's left of the Southern Nerd, currently sleeping in a Walmart parking lot. Check that shit out. How did I get here? Once again, sleeping in my car, this time in Michigan. The furthest away from home I have ever been. Yeah. Now I'm keeping an eye out for anything that looks like, I don't know. I looked online and it is legal to sleep at the Walmart parking lot in Michigan. So, I don't know. After the craziness I went through, I feel like the cops might find an excuse to mess with me anyway, but I will get into that later. Anyway, I lived in Central Arkansas, the Southern Nerd, not the Michigan Nerd. I am the Southern Nerd. I'm told my accent is not very obvious. I don't know. But anyway, I lived in Central Arkansas. I had a good job. I worked at a call center. It was hell on my anxiety, but I was doing it. I was getting used to it. And, $12 an hour for Central Arkansas, that's a lot of money. So I was making myself do it, and I actually got good at it. I never got completely used to it. I mean, every morning I had a panic attack, not knowing when I was going to get the next nasty customer cussing me out and all that shit. But I ended up having to leave that job. It was a variety of things. Part of it was that anxiety. I mean, I'll be honest, sooner or later I would have told one of those customers to get fucked, and I would have gotten fired, so I just wanted to avoid that. Also, I had to get away from a situation I was in. But anyway, now I figured I have a girlfriend in Canada. Now, I know I can't just straight up move to Canada. You got to get citizenship and all that. But I figured, before I got set up in Arkansas again, why don't I spend a couple of weeks with my girl? I already had the passport card and the documents I needed. I was planning to take some time off, but, situations, shit spiraled out of control and got worse every fucking day. But anyway, I had a passport card, so I put my stuff in a storage locker, most of it. Brought the things I wanted to take with me for a couple weeks to Canada to visit my girl, and I drove off. When I got there, now keep in mind, I went onto Canada's immigration website to find out what I needed. Passport card, proof of car insurance. I got it. When I got there, the guy, I drove for 18 goddamn hours, and the guy told me, prove you're not planning to move here. I was a little taken aback by that. I felt like he asked me, prove you're not planning to kick a puppy while you're here. Can't you just take my word for it? I mean, if somebody asked you to prove you're not planning to commit a crime, how would you do that? I don't know, but I told him, well, my girlfriend's landlord will allow her to have visitors, but not as a roommate, not anyone living with her. That did not count, apparently. He said it was because I had no job and no address, basically. I mean, I kind of get what he was saying, but why was this not on the website? But anyway, I felt like when I was talking to him, I felt like I did not get a chance to properly explain everything. I mean, I gave him my girlfriend's phone number. I gave him the address. I told him, if I stay longer than I say, just come and arrest me. He said, no, we don't waste resources. So, and after that, he told me that if I tried another port, I would get arrested. So, I sat in my car for a little bit, keep in mind, I had been driving for 18 hours. I had not slept. But somebody tells me that he's going to have me arrested if I ask for a second opinion. That kind of makes me think I need a second opinion. So I drove to Detroit, to the crossing in Detroit. Now, and I was nervous. I knew it was possible he was telling the truth and I would be arrested just for showing up there and asking what was going on, what can I do. But I figured I'll tell him straight up. I'll be honest with him right from the start. I was at this other port. This is what I told him. This is what he told me. I just want a second opinion. I want to know if there's any way that I can resolve this. Can I get a visa? Can I apply for a visa here? They detained me for 5 fucking hours. And most of that, they talked to me first, then they took me to an interview. Probably about 30 minutes into it, they took me into an interview room. They talked to me about what was going on. They told me arrest was a possibility. So the other 4.5 hours, I was sitting on ass, waiting to find out if I was going to be arrested. He told me that they were going to decide whether or not I was going to be banned from Canada or even go to fucking jail. He gave me a break though. He got on my phone. He looked at all my text messages. He saw that I was telling the truth. And he recommended that I just be allowed to leave with a warning. Basically, is how I understood it. Basically, I was not banned from Canada. I was not arrested. Thank fuck. Honestly, I was more worried about being banned from Canada permanently. Although, I'm not sure how it amounts to any difference, since I will be arrested if I try to go in again without all this stuff they was wanting. But I am one who, at least as of recently, has learned to try to make the best of a bad situation. So, my girl, oh man, she was bawling her eyes out. I will never forget how she sounded on the phone. And she just had her 24th birthday and her passport expired, so she cannot come to see me. It's going to be at least a week or two before she can get that. Oh my God. But best of a bad situation. Well, she looked online and she saw that there are jobs in Michigan that are higher paying than the jobs in Arkansas. I looked online for apartments. Apartments here are cheaper than they were in my town. So I figured, why the hell go back to Arkansas? The houses are cheaper, the houses are better, and the jobs are better. So, and if I went back to Arkansas, I would be working for, and hopefully, maybe, if we're lucky, see my girlfriend once a goddamn year on my vacations, and a year until I get my first vacation. Or I get set up here, close to the border, get that job, get the border thing cleared up, I fucking hope, and I can see my girl every week. So, that's what we're planning to do. I have some money saved from my job, so I can afford first and last month's rent. But nothing is open on Sundays, and I came up here on the weekend. So tonight I'm sleeping in my car, and I am hoping to God that they will just take the money, let me sign the lease without necessitating that I prove to them that I have a job already. My plan is to get that job. My plan is to get the apartment, and I have a place to stay for a month while I get that first job, and I do have ways of getting the next month's rent also. I mean, I already have enough for first month's rent and the security deposit, which is usually about the same as the first month's rent. And I have a way of getting the next month's rent also. So if I can get that apartment, I have a roof over my head and I have time to find a job. But I'm worried that they're not going to give it to me until after I have the job. I don't know how long I'm going to be in this car, folks. But anyway, there's a lot of apartments to choose from. Some of them are month to month. Those ones, though, are so goddamn expensive. I might as well just be staying in a hotel for a month. I mean, well, that's not strictly true. I mean, I guess a month-to-month lease is like $300 less than a hotel about. I mean, it's the difference between $900 and $1,300 basically. But I want one of those apartments that is $400 a month. I can easily afford to pay that, and I'm hoping